Joining me now is Dan Denbow, CEO and President of Signature Resources. Now, Signature Resources announced a maiden gold reserve at the Lingman Lake Gold Project in Ontario back in July. And now, Dan, you are back with news of fundraising in order to expand that resource. Tell us the nuts and bolts of the fundraising deal.
Thank you very much. And it is it's a very interesting and exciting time for us. We've been working hard to get that resource out. I think it made a good statement, a very good starting point for this project, and prove that it deserves more work. We announced a $3 million raise that we're currently doing that's targeted for 3,000 meter program that we're trying to drill 6 holes, diamond drill holes at the Lingman Lake Project, focused on trying to extend it laterally and trying to take it deeper, which is what everybody wants.
So talk to us more about these targets for the next round of drilling. We understand that a fair amount of exploratory work has gone into it.
Yeah, I think what's really exciting about this is, and the big question I've always had and everybody else has had, it's nice to get that initial resource out, and sure, you have a lot of high grade at surface, but how do you get it bigger? Um, and we finally have enough modeling done. We've digitized all the data. We've done a lot of historical work, put it all together that shows us what the zones look like. We've remodeled all the gold zones. There's 5 gold zones within that resource. And then how do they lay into the deposit? And then how do we extend them deeper? And how do we take them laterally east and west? So in early 2022, we'd completed a IP study that showed there's a high correlation between high chargeability and low recessivity, which means there's good porosity in the rocks. And so the question is, where did the gold come from? It didn't just get to surface by some aliens landing there and dropping it out of the ship. It came from the deeper extents. And so how did it get from the deeper extents? Had to have some mobilization of the fluids. Had to have porosity. I know it's kind of geeky, but I'm in Texas, so oil guys love porosity and permeability. Those trends showed that's how the gold mobilized. What it also showed is this very large low recessivity anomaly that's moved just out to the south of where we've been drilling. So while everything near surface has been just to the north of this anomaly, it shows us that if we move our drills just a little bit to the south and deeper, it should continue. So we're hoping to extend this another 250, 300 meters deeper. And then we're looking at 2 targets out west, and it's going to extend those by 230 and up to 590 meters west. So that's going to extend our strike by from 1.5 kilometers to over 2 kilometers east-west. And then if we can take it deeper, that's going to do a lot for us.
So, Dan, I understand that you have got some nice modeling together to demonstrate what you're speaking about with regards to the 3D IP survey versus historical drilling results.
Yeah, so if you look at the correlation that occurs with low recessivity, and these sections are all low recessivity, you can see the gold modeling. All the gold that we have in our resource follows the purple along, which is showing that it is all in the low recessivity area. But you can also see we have not tested the larger part of the anomaly as it goes deeper. So we're only down about 200 meters. This anomaly goes down 600 meters. There's another 400 meters to expand this. And the last thing I'd point out, this last section, we have not drilled out west, but it shows that the resource is marching right towards that western section. And we're going to drill that this winter. And that's going to show that this deposit continues going another 230 meters. And then we're going to test another section, another 300 meters past this last section in this graphic.
Well, you do have an audience of geeks here, Dan, geeks and treasure hunters. And when it comes to the Lingman Lake Gold Project, we do keep hearing that there is potential district scale. So can you tell us a bit more about what is leading you to that conclusion and what sort of timeline we're looking at to reach that level of exploration?
Sure. So I think, we're going to do this small program now. If it does prove out that this theory of the large anomaly proves out, we want to come back and hit that pretty good with probably another 10, 12,000 meters. We also have a lot of infill work we can do that showed from the resource. We can grow the resource just on its own footprint, just with infill drilling. And then we know from prior work doing the flyover surveys, we have 14 identified targets on our 32-kilometer wide greenstone belt. we think, of those targets, Lingman may not be the best mine. It's what we've been working on. We could end up finding something better on one of these other targets, but that has to be proven. We do need to do field work. We need to get out there and kick some rocks, pick them up, do some trenching on those other targets, see what they look like. And if they do prove like they look at pretty good, we'd want to repeat this survey we did with the IP, move it out that way, extend it, and then look for drilling targets there. But there are many targets on this property, and even within this 3 kilometer wide IP anomaly that we studied, it shows across the whole body, but there's many targets north and south of our little strike that we're working on that shows extensions north and south. So there's good potential right where we're working on the old Lingman Lake property. And then we have 14 regional targets in this 32-kilometer greenstone belt. There's a lot to be done here. It needs a lot of time to work on these targets, but there's a lot that can be done, and it can keep advancing every day.
And Dan, it does sound like Signature Resources has had good momentum on the back of releasing that resource estimate just a few short months ago. Looking forward to the next news flows.
Yeah, it's exciting times.